Hey guys, Stockaholics, thanks for being here today. I would like to provide an update on what I've been doing recently. In the past, I would say I focused a lot on kind of macro views on a lot of the things that I would talk about, although I would occasionally talk about sectors or companies. In the past few months, however, although I have been making some occasional videos, most of my time has been going to investing or sorry, researching in individual companies in which to possibly invest in. And I would like to kind of share some of the process that I have been doing to find companies and why I think this process that I'm doing has value if you choose to do it yourself. Now, I don't want to suggest that what I'm showing you guys today is a new idea. It's not. Uh, in fact, it's not even, I don't even think it's that brilliant of an idea. The only thing that is differential, is that a word? Differentiates it from other strategies of investing is just you putting some work in. And the reason I started doing this is because I've heard of other people doing this, and though some of those people were extremely successful investors or seem to be extremely competent people in which I respect, one of those, and I don't like to do ethos-based arguments. I don't because I don't. For me personally, I don't put much value in people themselves, but rather the success in their ideas. And I guess after trying some of these ideas, I can see that there is some truth to this. So one of those people is the infamous Warren Buffett. At least in his early stages of investing, did some of the stuff that I'm going to show you guys that I've been doing. And another person that I follow closely on YouTube, who talks is who I discovered through the tankers, much like I think probably some of you guys have, is his name is Mariusz Skanetsky. And after hearing both of these guys saying that they have done this throughout the years, I decided to give it a shot and do it myself. I've probably spent at least a few hundred hours doing this, and through this process I have found some companies that I really like, that I've already invested in, and that I think almost nobody is talking about or will talk about until some point in the future. Welcome to the OTC Market Company Directory Listings, where you can find 11,938 securities all around the world, some of which are no longer in business. I'm not a financial advisor, but I don't think I would recommend investing in some of those ones that are no longer in business. And there are all kinds of horrible companies in here, but if you read through here, you will find some very incredible companies, some of which are extremely undervalued. I would suggest that I believe there are several, if not many, hundred baggers in this listings that nobody yet is talking about, and nobody yet has made YouTube videos about or written an article about somewhere, but that you, if you put enough effort and work into, can find yourself. So this is what I've been doing. I've been going through this list, reading about companies. Some of them I'll spend a few seconds on if it doesn't look like it's an interesting product to me, or if they're out of business. Sometimes I'll read some of these companies just to see what they've been doing, just because out of curiosity that caused them to go out of business. But anyway, there's a lot of terrible companies, but if you read through here, you'll find some very interesting ones. And those are companies that you would, I promise you, never be exposed to otherwise. For example, this one right here. I've researched this one a little bit more. I decided it's not for me yet. That could change at some point, but it's on my radar. This one right here, A2 Milk Company. They're a dairy company located in New Zealand. They have some very high quality milk products, One of the things that is good about them is they have something like powdered milk products, and they have penetration into foreign markets like China, where they're selling like baby milk products, something like that. Again, I decided it wasn't for me. I didn't go deep into this company, but very interesting company. I would have never heard about A2 Milk if it wasn't for this listing. I've also learned while going through here that New Zealand has some incredible cheese, and they have so some great milk products, and I wouldn't know that if I hadn't gone through here. Now, their business is good; they're highly profitable, but when I was researching it, their shares were kind of expensive for me, so I decided not to go there. But again, I've never been to New Zealand. How would I know about that? And I've scrolled all the way through. Well, not all the way through. So far, I've made it through about 1,500 or so companies. I've made it through most of the letter B. And this isn't even displaying everything I've got through. So what I do, once I find companies that are interesting in here, or once I've researched them a little bit, I record them, keep them for my austerity on this list here. And sometimes as you're researching these companies, it'll take you down some rabbit holes. And although I've only gone through the A and the letters A and B on this listing, I found all kinds of companies after researching at least some of the competitors in these industries that I've researched. So what I do, I research companies and I put them on this sheet. I have a system where I guess rate them on my level of excitement for those different businesses. So greens might be really awesome companies. The light blues are something that I'm really interested in. I think there's potential in. And the yellows are, I'm kind of, oh, that seems interesting. Maybe I'll research that more later. As you can see here, there's that one I was talking about, the A2 milk that I found in that listing. Now I wanted to share some of the companies that I found through doing some of this research and some of the inefficiencies, I guess, that I've noticed in the market, at least through the OTC exchanges. A lot of these companies, they're just under the radar. People don't know about them yet. They're incredible companies, and they're likely to get exposure later. So you can front run a retail segment of the population. That's why I've really liked doing this. It's incredible that these companies are out there for people to find, but nobody does it. Nobody puts in the work to do it. And you can find an edge on the market by doing that. And I've found that personally. So I'll show you an example of one of these. For example, this is a company that I own now. This one, Bragg Gaming. And I'll give you a little reason why I own this company. First of all, you can look at their revenues for the past few years and earnings. They have something like a return on equity of 50%, something like that. Crazy. And their revenues have been doubling every year for the past few years, including the most recent year during the coronavirus. What these guys do, they provide back-end casino software. And so what they do is they don't directly market to a consumer. They're not like DraftKings or something like that. Instead, they have software that they provide to different establishments, and they take a percentage of the revenue by providing that software. So if you've ever seen like online slots, online gaming, anything like that, or sports books, these guys, they make that and they sell that to different casinos. Now there's all kinds of casinos all over the place, all over the world, that market to different consumers and different brick and mortar establishments that want some kind of an online presence, and these guys can give it to them. They don't deal with the customers themselves, but they provide the software for other people to have. Now they're not the only people in the market, but they're although they have been getting some attention recently, at least in the past several months. For the most part of their history, nobody knew about them, And if you look on the Seeking Alpha, for example, on this company, there's two guys who talked about this company, And this is probably one of the companies that I found that there has been more exciting. And you look at the return on this company over the last year is 1,200%. It is incredible. And since I've bought in, probably somewhere around here, it's doubled. So anyway, and I still think that this company is undervalued because if you look at some of their competitors who are making less money than them, this company is listed on the New York Stock Exchange. This is called Yan. They had basically a similar concept. I've researched this company a little bit. I personally think Brad Gaming products is a little bit better, my opinion. And I would like to mention that I have an online gaming background, because I've played online poker, but that's just, whatever. You look at these guys' revenues, their earnings compared to Brad Gaming, and you look at their valuation. This company is valued like 10 times higher at their market cap just because they're listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Whereas this company, Brad Gaming, let me see if I can find them again, is growing faster and has the same revenue and is priced at a fraction of the cost. Now, one of the cool parts of this process that I've discovered is that not only do you find companies directly, but you find some other companies indirectly. Now, one of these companies that I was exposed to was this one, named Aaron's. I'm not invested in them, and I probably will not be investing in them, but this has exposed me to some other companies. Now, I think that I found this on the OTC market exchange. If I didn't find this one, I found something else that led me to this on that exchange. And if you guys don't know, Aaron's is a rent-to-own kind of a brick-and-mortar kind of store chain located in the United States. In my opinion, they're kind of a scummy business. They have a business model where they target kind of lower-end customers with poor credit that don't have perhaps the greatest income. What they do is they say, hey, you come into our store, we'll give you this mattress, you can lease it from us for an extended period of time, and then you rent to own it. But what they do through this process is you're essentially paying 2 or 3 times what the product would normally retail for by leasing it from them to own it. I didn't think this business would be very profitable, but after researching them, I've discovered that this rent-to-own kind of business is immensely profitable. There's a lot of people that do this kind of transaction with these kinds of businesses. Now, for me personally, I didn't think that Aaron's was very exciting. I thought that the business was, I don't think there's a lot of growth potential personally, and I don't think that their stock is undervalued. I think it's anything if it's overvalued. But while researching this, I was exposed to another segment of these kinds of businesses through that are in these online lease to own or online subpar credit kind of companies. One of those was a spinoff of Aaron's named Progressive Holdings, and as you can see, nobody is following this kind of company. Nobody really cares about it yet, but it is so far a profitable business. Instead of having a physical location like Aaron's, they are an online business, and they have all kinds of retail partners like Best Buy, where you can get a lease-to-own product and get scammed and all over the place. Now, personally, I think that a business should provide a benefit to customers. So I don't know that I'm necessarily a subscriber to Progressive Holdings in the long term. But after discovering this one, I was exposed to another company called Elevate Credit. Now, Elevate Credit has a similar kind of business model, but I think that they're a lot less scummy, and this is why. They offer subpar credit consumers loans on different products. Could be tires, could be furniture, could be jewelry, could be whatever. These kinds of people who would otherwise not be able to purchase these kinds of things. They give them credit. They have an algorithm that is extremely successful in identifying which of these customers is actually going to pay back the loans. They don't have at least own kind of a business. Instead, they provide credit to people that otherwise wouldn't get credit. And at the same time, they provide these people the opportunity to increase their credit rating while being immensely profitable, right? So by finding this company through the listing, I was exposed to Progressive Holdings. I was like, okay, that's interesting. They make a lot of money, but I don't know. And then I was exposed to Elevate Credit, which is also profitable. It's got its challenges, don't get me wrong. I think they're overcoming those, but it's a much better product and perhaps a company that I would consider investing in. Here's another company that I found while researching through the OTC market exchanges. It's a company called Beware. It is another interesting up and start tech company, but as you can see, nobody cares about it. If you go through, let's go through Yahoo Finance conversations, 22 people have talked about it. Actually, that's the same guy multiple times as well. Nobody knows about this company, right? Nobody's tracking it. Nobody follows it. But you look at their financials. On the other hand, again, exponential growth story. You look at their profit, similar story. They're making bank, right? At the same, by the way, what this company does, they are a 5G based company. They provide tracking software for assets like trailers or shipping containers. Say companies can do, whether it be a trucking company or a company like Walmart that's trying to keep track of all these shipping containers, can slap that on that product, and it'll provide a ping to a GPS satellite on a very low battery cost, extremely low, which is the advantage of 5G. And companies can keep track of wherever their products are going for all across the world, I believe, and for very low cost. But these guys have a recurring business model that not so much that they're concerned about selling the product itself, but they're selling the service of keeping track of all of these things, right? So again, it's just another business I wouldn't be exposed to, and perhaps something that I'll be considering investing to as I do some more research later. All right. So I want to leave it with this, and this is a quote from Mr. Yoda. He says, "Do or do not, there is no try." Now I want to mention, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan there ever was, but I like this quote a lot. And this is kind of, I like this philosophy. And I use this in my classroom. If you guys don't know, I am a middle school science teacher. And every time a student says, "Okay, mister," or I'll try and get blah, blah, blah to buy so-and-so or whatever, I say, no, you're not. You're either going to do it or you're not. And I think that this is an important philosophy to have. I think a lot of people are lazy, to be honest. And a lot of the behaviors I notice, in fact, this is probably why I think the OTC market or any market exchange, if you just go and do the research yourself, why I think there's so much value in doing so is because nobody's willing to do it themselves. So if you are actually willing to not try and you're actually willing to do and put in the work to do or research yourself, I think that there's tremendous value in that. Myself, I've noticed this in people that I've known. I noticed this on YouTube, and I've noticed this in more detail in some of the people, friends that I have. A lot of them are not willing to research. They're willing to hear what I have to say. They're willing to even pay me for my thoughts. They're even willing to give me a cut of the investment ideas that I have, but they're not willing to do it themselves, which to me is incredible, because the amount of money that you can make by researching yourself is unlimited. It's capped to whatever you're willing to put into an investment. Like I think I said a little bit earlier in the video, there are 100 baggers out. There's probably even 1,000 bagger somewhere in that OTC market exchange waiting for you to go and find it. So don't try, don't be lazy. If you have the wherewithal, you're willing to put work in, you will find it. Just go and do it.